You think saying no is just correcting behavior? It is not. Every time you say no, your child is learning something you cannot see, and it may shape how they handle limits for life. In this video, you will understand how simple parenting moments rewire their emotional response to boundaries. Imagine your child asks for something again. You are tired, your phone is still in your hand. You say no without looking up. You already know you should be more patient, but you repeat the same reaction anyway. It just feels faster than explaining. However, what feels like a small daily reaction is not small for your child. Their brain is recording how that no feels, not just what it means. In the next moments, you will see what children actually learn from how you set limits. Not the rules, but the emotional pattern behind the rules. And it starts with something most parents overlook: how no is interpreted in the child's brain before logic even begins. You think your child hears your words? No. What they actually remember is your emotional state. Imagine a tired afternoon. Your child runs up to ask you for something. Your eyes are still glued to your phone screen as you casually say, "No." You think you are just setting a boundary, but in that exact moment, the child's brain is encoding something else. They do not process your logical rule. They only feel the sharp emotional tone of your distraction. An instant association is formed. To them, your limit means emotional withdrawal. Later, you might wonder, "I'm just saying no. Why is this such a big reaction?" But the hidden cost is heavy. Your child either becomes hypersensitive to rejection, or they will completely ignore your boundaries down the line. What you think is correction is actually emotional encoding. Not every no becomes discipline. Some become emotional memory. Because how you say no matters much more than the word itself. You think you are removing conflict? No. You are removing the experience of limits. Imagine your child wants something unsafe. To avoid a meltdown, you quickly switch their attention. "Look over here," or "do this instead." You tell yourself, "If I just redirect, there is no conflict." But what feels gentle now actually weakens their emotional tolerance later. By constantly changing the subject, your child learns that discomfort should be avoided, not processed. The boundary is never fully understood. Avoiding rejection does not teach emotional resilience. The hidden cost is heavy. Your child grows up with a low tolerance for frustration, making it very difficult for them to accept a direct no in the future. Constant redirection teaches the avoidance of emotional discomfort, not the understanding of boundaries. But when explanation enters too early, another problem begins. You think you are teaching with logic? No. You are speaking to a brain that cannot hear reasoning. Imagine your child is completely upset. You try to stay calm, explaining the rules over and over again. You tell yourself, "I already explained this so many times. Why are they not listening?" But understanding is never created during an emotional peak. When a child is highly emotional, the thinking part of their brain goes offline. They literally cannot process your logic. An explanation without emotional readiness becomes pure noise. The hidden cost is that your child learns to disconnect from you, or they will simply stop processing your guidance in the future. Explanation without emotional readiness becomes a barrier. And when your tone changes, the message changes completely. Your voice is calm. Your nervous system is not. Imagine speaking softly to your child while feeling deeply frustrated inside. Your face is controlled, but your body is tense. You might ask yourself, "I was calm. Why didn't it work?" The truth is, children trust emotional consistency more than soft words. They quickly detect microsignals: your posture, your facial tension, and your breathing rhythm. The hidden cost is heavy. Your child becomes hyper-aware of your emotional shifts, and they may suppress their own emotions just to stay safe. Tone without inner calm teaches emotional confusion. And remember, even silence carries a stronger message than words. Silence feels gentle, but the child cannot read it clearly. Imagine you stop talking, using silence or a disappointed face to discipline your child. The child cannot decode their specific error. They only sense a painful emotional disconnection. Inside their mind, they constantly think, "Something is wrong, but I don't know what." This ambiguous discipline creates unclear emotional rules. The hidden cost is deep anxiety around your approval, forcing the child to constantly over-adapt to your emotional cues. What is unclear becomes internal anxiety. All these patterns lead to one final realization. It was never about the word no. You might tell yourself, "I thought I was teaching discipline." But the truth is, children do not learn discipline from rules, but from the emotional patterns behind them. The repeated daily interactions of saying no while distracted, quickly redirecting, explaining during a meltdown, and using cold silence are silently building a long-term emotional template in your child's brain. Discipline is not instruction. It is emotional repetition. The hidden cost is personality-level patterns, avoidance, anxiety, or emotional suppression. What you repeat emotionally becomes your child's personality. And this final realization closes the entire framework. Saying no is not a parenting technique. It is a repeated emotional signal your child learns to interpret over time. What matters is not the consistency of rules. It is the consistency of the emotional state behind those rules. There is a big difference between a parent who understands behavior and a parent who simply reacts to behavior. One changes patterns. The other repeats them without noticing. Your child does not remember your rules first. They remember what it felt like to be stopped by you. Notice one moment today where you said no. Not what you said, but how you felt when you said it. That moment tells more than the words. If this made you reflect, there is more beneath everyday parenting than most people see. You can stay for the next breakdown. Most changes in parenting do not start with new words. They start with noticing old reactions.